Become mere victims to Jedi business. It's been a long time. Well, like a day. Nice to see you. Today, we're looking again at a Star Wars theory video. Uh, I think he's got beef with somebody at Forbes. That's that's the way I understand it. I was looking through this and I saw there was a Forbes article that comes up. So yeah, likely taking shots at them because they've taken shots at him. Usually he's a counter puncher, not someone that just goes after somebody for no reason.
The conversation I had with Hayden, one part of it, where I was like, man, they just need to make the whole Clone Wars with you.
Fulfill your destiny.
Star Wars. TheorySabers.com.
TheorySabers.com.
I've been tempted to get one of those.
So here's something pretty funny. Forbes just posted this article. Disney, just do Star Wars The Clone Wars in live action with you.
It's a no-brainer.
And I'm like,
It's
yeah,
like,
that'd be freaking awesome.
It's like
and that was
Vader
something I
hunting
actually
down
had a
Jedi.
conversation with Hayden Christensen
That'd be a no-brainer.
in private about, which I can talk about in this video as well. But it's written by Paul Tassi. I don't even know who this nobody was until I started to see that he was writing a lot of shit about me and just having horrible takes when it came to me as a person and the things that I actually would not say, but he would spin it as if I said them. This guy is a weirdo.
He wasn't lying. Stenberg did have a meltdown.
He's like some sort of a writer, I guess. Writer for Forbes. It comes full circle because I'm like,
writer in quotes.
Like, yeah, this is a cool thing that we should get. I think it would be awesome. I think Disney would make a lot of profits from it.
A lot of people call themselves writers.
See this, of course. But also, it's funny because this guy is always ripping on me. I guess that's how he gets some sort of clout. But he's literally just ripping on my idea. We saw that episode of Hayden of Anakin Skywalker in the Clone Wars with young Ahsoka in the Ahsoka show. And I made a tweet. And I remember when I posted it, I said, like, it would be awesome if we could get Hayden Christensen in a Clone Wars live action with Ahsoka, the same actress who played the young Ahsoka. I forgot her name. She was great. She was phenomenal.
That was cool to see him
all the Jedi again. And essentially the Clone Wars, but like stories that we maybe haven't been told
he's still
in the animated form. Or maybe stories that we have been, but they do it from a new angle or whatever. But in live action with Hayden, I think that would be amazing.
They need to adapt those novels, but they don't want to pay the authors. Like, just ask Alan Dean Foster.
And now this freaking guy who is always using my name is literally just taking that when people were ripping on me for it, being like, "Oh, we already got that in the Clone Wars in animated form," and I'm like,
"Oh, you noticed that pronouns in bio."
You guys not want to see more Hayden Christensen? Like, what's wrong with you people?
You're sounding like a separatist.
Remember years ago when I had Hayden behind me as a cardboard cutout, people were just like, "Oh, you only talk about the Star Wars. We only talk about the prequel trilogy. You only talk about Hayden Christensen and Anakin." And now everybody and their mama is all about Hayden. It's like, oh, yeah, well, maybe because he's the coolest character and he's a great actor. Let's read what this writer, Paul Tassi, has to say. You guys get
people that hated
today.
Hated the prequels back in the day. Now they're praising
Christensen
them.
And Ewan McGregor are itching to get back to Star Wars. Here's Christensen speaking to Variety about a return. If it means that I got to do more,
that's what I said.
That's no brainer. But I really hope that he continues with the character. And as far as continuing with that character, here's McGregor. I really do hope we get a chance to do another one. Between where we ended off in the series and when Alec Guinness comes on screen with Luke Skywalker, I think there's another few stories to tell in there.
Everyone really aged in those 19 years.
I don't think the making more stories that take place after Obi-Wan Kenobi and before A New Hope is a good idea. Why not, Paul Tassi? Obi-Wan Kenobi was fine.
Tassi?
What a shill, dude. You could tell he just hated that show, but he's paid to say otherwise.
Tell him to bring me my money.
It was shit. Obi-Wan Kenobi show was absolutely horrible. It was written by somebody who doesn't understand Star Wars. Joey Harold. I mean, who is this guy? And Deborah Chow.
One shot.
What is with the shaky cam? I mean, that's not even like the first problem. There were so many problems with that show, but the only highlight was getting Hayden and Ewan back. That was it. Jimmy Smits as well. But Hayden and Ewan, I mean, they utilized them both. Like dog shit. They wrote the characters horribly. I don't think they've ever even watched Star Wars. And if they did, they must have been on like 50 grams of shrooms or something because they were just in some other dimension. The power of Kenobi was fine, but not amazing. And jamming in more stories there would create some level of a stretch to find something valuable and get Hayden back in there somehow without being under a Vader helmet the whole time. No, Paul. You see, if you actually watch Star Wars or maybe watch some of my videos, you see there is a plethora of different theories and what ifs on situations that could take place between episode 3 and 4. In fact, I'm spending over $1 million to make a fan film about such situation between 3 and 4, where Vader fights Mace Windu and he comes back, and there's a
That's
reason
cool.
that both of them need each other. It's going to be pretty compelling. I'm sure you're going to write about it. But
What
maybe
I've seen
not.
so far
We'll see.
is
Dude,
pretty
that's
neat.
from my script. Yeah, look,
Like, I
there's
just
tons
put out
of
a reaction
stories that
video
they could do and they could adapt into live action. I think starting with the Clone Wars and even just doing the episodes that we've had before, but in live action, I mean, who wouldn't want to see that? I think that would be phenomenal. I think we all want more Clone Wars episodes, so I'm sure we all want more real live action episodes as well.
I don't like the CGI Clone Wars as much as I like the 2003 Tartakovsky one, but there's still a lot of cool moments in that series. Like, I would actually like to see that live action. That could be dope.
I think it's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, there's tons of things we could do in that timeline. I mean, what they did with Kenobi was utter nonsense for sure. If they want to go a little before that, they could as well. And if they want to go after that, they could as well. I mean, we don't have to have Obi-Wan leaving the planet. Read the novel Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you'll have a perfect script of exactly what Obi-Wan could be doing in this time. I mean, he was communing with Qui-Gon, okay? He was blaming himself for everything that went down. The way he found out that Vader was alive was in a cantina on a hologram because he overheard the Empire. He overheard people talking about him. That's how he heard that Vader...
And Qui-Gon, he wasn't able to manifest himself in, like, as a ghost when Yoda started communing with him. So, like, that also made no sense. For him to show up as a ghost in the Obi-Wan show, there's a lot of stuff that didn't make sense.
Was alive. Nobody knew that Vader was Anakin, right? Nobody was supposed to know, and that the whole Reva... Yeah, just Palpatine and... Bullshit. Really bad writing. And it's such a monumental moment Yoda, as well. So Obi-Wan. Just do live-action Clone Wars. At this point, who cares? Just let them do it.
And this maybe Thrawn.
Paul Tassi just reveal his true intentions and feelings? At what point, Paul? At what point, Shill? Isn't this guy always like just ripping apart my tweets and like putting words in my mouth? I mean, the guy only gets engagement whenever he talks about me. And I mean, I understand it's lucrative. You're all about the views and the money.
That's giving him incentive.
Turn on them now. What are you talking about, bro? Just be real. Like at this point, at what point? The point that Star Wars is so broken that Disney's destroying it because they can't find a competent writer that actually cares about Star Wars enough to tell the story that George started without having to interject their own politics and agendas and views and bullshit in there instead of just telling a good story and a good narrative about characters that are
so hard,
cool, you know? And it makes sense.
Why?
Who cares? Just let them do it. This feels like this is where everything is leading anyway, with Dave Filoni porting as many characters from that and Rebels as he can into live action. No, dude, this guy should not be writing about Star Wars. I don't know who gave him looking at Disney, you know, they give anybody the keys nowadays who write Star Wars, except for actual fans, it seems, and actual competent, intelligent, creative people. But hey, you keep writing for Forbes, pal. Subscribe, less than $1.50 a week. Wow, what a bargain. What a deal. Yeah! Really, I want to read this shit. That's especially true because Disney seems to be allergic to truly original ideas outside the Skywalker era. And, well, Anakin Skywalker is more Skywalker. Are they really allergic, though? I mean, you got Rogue One. You got The Acolyte, which was your personal favorite, right? You got the sequel trilogy, which really, let's be honest here, it doesn't really have much to do with the Skywalker timeline at all. I mean... It's more so about Rey and Finn and Poe.
Give somebody the name Skywalker that's not really
dies in the first one. Leia is non-existent, unfortunately. And Luke Skywalker is literally not even Luke Skywalker. So anyone who wants to argue that, you know, the sequel trilogy is about the Skywalkers, it really is not. Unless, at the end, you want to magically make Rey Skywalker, which, yes, I guess they did. Technically speaking, it could be. But, you know, just interjecting somehow Palpatine returned, I guess, makes it work. I would argue that they aren't doing enough Skywalker stuff. You know, when was the last time we really saw Luke? Was it in the little bits of the Boba Fett show? That was about it. We saw him for a few seconds at the end of The Mandalorian Season 2, which was great, phenomenal. But besides that, what Skywalker stuff are we getting? The ghost of Anakin showing up for 2 seconds at the end of the Ahsoka show? There isn't really much Skywalker stuff at all. So, you know, I can understand that you have some sort of hatred for the Skywalker era, at least what I'm getting from your cadence here, from your writing.
These covers
for
are
Forbes,
awesome.
but I just don't think that you're on point, man. I don't think that you really know what you're talking about, and I just think that you're coming from a weird place. I don't think it's genuine. They wouldn't have to relive the entire series, which ran from
A lot of these
2008 to a
so-called
final
writers
season
are
in 2020 and
disingenuous.
spanned close to 1 from 50 episodes. But there are certainly a number of hugely memorable arcs in there that could be adapted for TV. And there's this reason Star Wars fans love this show, because it's good. And one aspect of that is because it presented a more dimensional version of Anakin that we never got to see in the films, and it's good. We have already seen this once in live action, briefly, with Clone Wars era Hayden Anakin appearing to Ahsoka, who is rendered in Clone Wars era age. I'm sorry, I'm being catty. You know, if people just stop coming after me, man, you won't be catching hands like this. So listen, brought it on yourself. And that leads to the idea that yes, all of these pieces are already in place. Are Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen older than they're supposed to be for a show like this? Yes. Who cares?
What does it matter
We
how
can
old
get
they
over
are?
that. And we know those two would be on board. Yeah, it's called deepfake, man. It's called de-aging. It's not too hard to do. They're not ancient.
They
They're
still
there.
look
They still look
the
fine. Past
part.
that, you already have the co-star of the series, young Ahsoka, who could clearly still be played by the talented Ariana Greenblatt, who played her in that one episode.
She was
She's
good,
17
yeah.
now, around the perfect
I
age
mean,
for the
that's-
part. You also have
That's how I
Temuera Morrison
imagine
around to play
Ahsoka, young
Rex
Ahsoka to
and
look
the
in
other
live
clones,
action.
as they're definitely not having him do
That's
another
that girl,
season
I
of
think,
Boba Fett,
from-
which he seems
isn't
sad
that the
about,
girl
but
from
this would be a killer role for him.
Avengers?
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen my video on the supposed original script for the Kenobi show, go check it out. Go give it a watch. Pretty freaking awesome.
Oh man, it saddens me to hear about the original scripts to things like the Duel of the Fates script for episode 9. I kind of wanted to see that. I mean, it wasn't perfect, of course. He had to like make do with what he had. What's his name? That did Jurassic World. Colin Trevorrow, however you say it. He wrote a script for episode 9 that they just didn't use.
Woody was supposed to watch over Luke, and Obi-Wan was going to go off and do what he needed to do. Amazing. Way better script. Way better script than Deborah Chow, Joby Harold nonsense. Again, it seems beyond easy to lay the pieces for this. A question for Disney would be budget. The Acolyte got 180 million. I don't think we'll have a problem with the Clone Wars, which will actually get views, as they are allergic to...
Yeah, the budget is not the problem. It's the writing. God.
To figuring out how to do shows like this for anything less than 150 million a season, it seems. But Ewan and Hayden back with a young Ahsoka... Actually, that's not even true, Paul Tassi. Frickin' Kenobi show is what, $90 million? It was an entire show about Darth Vader, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, Hayden Christensen was in there.
I don't know if you'd have to pay these guys all that much, because they make a ton of money on just conventions. Like I was looking at SpaceCon in San Antonio, the prices for that, and okay, his autographs already sold out. They sold out like a month ago, and I was wanting to get his autograph, but they're charging a lot for those autographs.
They're in flashbacks. 90 million? 80 million? And then the Acolyte gets 180 million. The math ain't mathin'. But Ewan and Hayden back with a young Ahsoka recreating some of the most beloved arcs in Star Wars history, that would be huge. Just let them do it. Yeah, look, we agree on this one thing for once, finally. That it would be huge. It would be amazing. And this is something I said, and I caught major flack for it back when this episode actually came out. I'm like, this is something we should see. And herein lies the conversation I had with Hayden, one part of it, where I was like, man, you know, they just need to make the whole Clone Wars with you. He was like, yeah, I know. That would be pretty great, eh? And I'm like, yeah, it would be awesome.
I like his impression.
Yeah, me too. It's so cool. Anyways,
Hayden Christensen.
yeah, look, if they want to remake this, man, the amount of views that would be on that freaking show would be insane. And if anyone cares about views, it's obviously Disney, because that's why they're in business, to get big views for the shows and products that they create.
They ain't getting them right now.
Put X amount of money and time into something. Hopefully, it yields you a return, and their return is views, viewership, subscriptions, money.
I don't think they're gonna get them with Agatha.
So, yeah,
Agatha. My brother's gonna watch that, but he'll probably be the only one.
Major home run for them, and I would love to see it. I would absolutely love to see this. Will they do it? Probably not. They're just gonna focus on like more trash stuff like the Acolyte, or essentially just giving random
more
projects.
tape than
I don't know what this guy's
necessary.
talking about. That they're focusing on the Skywalkers.
There
They're focusing on like stuff that has nothing to do with them, like outside of that stuff. Right? So they're probably just going to do some other show, like the Skeleton Crew, for example, which I'm actually excited for. I'm looking forward to the Skeleton Crew. I saw the trailer. I actually gave it a really high praise, and I'm actually looking forward to watching this,
about that.
especially with you guys. I think it's going to be a really fun show. I'm not expecting too much from it. I think it's going to be cute
Yeah, just keep your
and
expectations
adventurous,
low.
and I'm
Yeah.
excited for it. I think it's going to be a good time. You know, something positive, something fun. We'll see.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
You never know. As long as Star Wars is in good hands, as long as they remember who created it. If they're telling themselves, you know, what would these characters do? How would they got to do the AI in their brain? How would George Lucas write this? If he were watching me write this right now, would he be like, yeah, that works? Or would he be like, what the, you know?
Who
Anyways, it's
freaking
really up
knows?
to who they hire, who they put in charge, and they can't just put anyone in charge. And I think they're starting to learn that. At
He's
least you would
changed his
hope.
mind
Thanks
so
so
many
much for
times.
watching this video. TheorySabers.com. We got the best sabers out there and the most value per saber. Guarantee it. Go check it out. If you have any questions,
Sabers are
contact our
pretty
support
neat.
team. We are there to answer your questions 24/7. Love you all. Have a great rest of your evening. May the force be
And
with
I
you.
guess
always.
they get away with selling those sabers because they don't use the actual names of like characters and stuff. Um, like they get close to the name. Like what's I'm trying to think of the Kenobi one. I think it's just like Jedi Hero Saber or something. I forget what they're called. But it's it's like generic kind of names, but you know who they're talking about, like Amethyst Blade or something. For Mace Windu, people know right away who that's for. Grandmaster Saber for Yoda, that could work. Giving him ideas, but I think he already has a Yoda one. I was looking through the site one day because I was thinking maybe one day I could get one of these. They're pretty expensive, but still, I'd think about it. Death of a planet. And Star Crash. Let's see. That one was tape good. That was some good tape. Let's see. Let's see. There was something else I wanted to look at. It's gonna be in my watch later, probably. And I'm so glad I fixed my audio. I had it on echo cancellation when I shouldn't have. That was dumb. I know nothing about it. I'm still learning as I go. Let's see. Watch later. Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. I was just gonna watch some more of. Oh no, it's Grizzy's video. If you haven't seen this guy, Grizzy takes streams videos of these people that he calls shills. They just like defend everything Disney, and they kind of attack people that that don't like Disney, people that criticize Disney all the time. They're kind of like the real gatekeepers. Like I might have mentioned that in the last video, but some of them are pretty funny. These videos, like their reactions are kind of cringe. You can tell they're faking a lot of their reactions, and that's why they get called shills because they're paid. Like they get gift bags and stuff. They get invited to Lucas Ranch. I guess they still do. They still is the ranch still in existence? I know Lucasfilm is, but they still use the ranch, right, for Lucasfilm. I'm assuming because they get invited to Lucasfilm. They meet all the creators, the executives like Kathy Kennedy, Dave Filoni. They were all there. Leslie Headland. They were all there. Uh, and like all these YouTubers, like just surrounding them, and they get given gifts. They get, it's like they don't tell them outright, okay, you need to give us some good reviews. You need to get the word out there that these are good shows. These are good products. This is a good game. Outlaws is a good game. Okay. But they don't outright tell them. It's more of a quid pro quo. Like you're expected really to give it a good review, even though they don't tell you to. Because what do you want? You want more access. You want to keep you want them to keep calling you to come back and give you more things, give you more access, You want it to continue. So you're going to toe the company line, as they say. So that's what these people have been doing. And they just get called out for it, and they do not like that. They do not like being called shills. So, like, videos like Grizzy's really trigger them. And I'm going to show you, what he kind of puts out. This is a 9-minute thing. I might just watch through the whole thing. Because these are funny. This is, what's her name? Louise Julie. Yeah. He loves playing this clip. And it's pretty funny.
Star Wars Outlaws.
Star Wars Outlaws. It's like you've seen the preview already. You're watching it. And they still act like they're surprised all the time. Like this guy right here. Kyle Katarn, he calls himself. Based off, the character from Dark Forces and Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. And, the Expanded Universe books, he became a member of Luke's Jedi Academy.
Wait, what?
You can tell he faked that. Just did that for views.
What? Ubisoft Forward tomorrow. Oh!
What a lunatic.
He sticks in these funny little clips. Ubisoft is not paying us. Uh-oh, here it goes.
All right,
here
before we begin, be sure to keep in mind that most of the individuals in this video did receive exclusive early access to this game.
Star Wars Outlaws is almost here. I've played a significant chunk of the game at this point.
That's the guy from Star Wars Explained. Grizzy calls him cross-dressing explained.
And I have to say thank you to Ubisoft for sending us early access.
I will be playing the game a day early access.
I've actually been playing it for the last 2 days because I got an early access key. Thank you, Ubisoft.
Star Wars Outlaws. Ubisoft was kind enough to send us a complete copy on Vanessa's birthday a whole week before it was released.
The complete edition? Like $120 worth?
Early access. That is actually 5 days before the idiots who paid extra for the gold and ultimate editions got their early access.
Dang. Base game, Kessel Runner, bonus pack, 3 days early access, season pass, Rogue Infiltrator bundle, Sabak Shark bundle, and digital art book. Dang.
Access. Oh, and don't forget about the all expenses covered Ubisoft Star Wars
Star Wars Theory did say that he got contacted about this. They tried to butter him up and he didn't bite.
Outlaws Shill Vacation.
Me sharing my opinions of Star Wars Outlaws are my genuine, honest opinions. I've not been paid to say them.
Flashback.
Yes, Ubisoft flew me out to a special event in LA where I got hands-on with the game and got to chat with
That's what I'm saying. How is this not payment?
Go to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland.
Everything
I say in
they are trying to influence you.
This video are my honest impressions of this game. Also, just as a heads up, I've not been paid to make...
They expect you to give it good reviews. If you want to stay in their good graces. This comic's not in the best of shape, but I'm a completist, so I wanted to get the whole series and not really that concerned with the condition.
Make this video or say any of this.
This is a bit store crash.
And I'm not afraid that Ubisoft, for example, won't want to work with me again because of what I'm saying on the internet about their games.
They're working with you because you are giving them everything that they want with regards to coverage and reviews of this game.
The gameplay.
And if you don't give them the coverage that they want, they won't invite you. Just ask Star Wars Theory.
That's why
Ubisoft reached out to him and invited him to this event as well, but he told them, if I think the game sucks, I'm going to come out and say that it sucks. And what did Ubisoft do?
And so
they ghosted him after he said that.
Yeah, they did reach out. We were potentially going to do something. I gave them an exorbitant amount of money. I was like, well, you need to give me this, and look, like there's going to be a ton of things in the contract that will not bind me to any sort of tailoring of what I need to or don't need to say about this game. If it's complete ass, I'm going to be totally candid about that. And so at the end of the day, nothing was signed. Nothing
Lord of
done,
the Rings
and,
Gollum.
and I'm happy about that because the
As
game
Mahler
looks
calls
like
it,
absolute
Lord of Ring
shit.
Gollum.
And surprise, surprise, all the people I've seen who attended these events and
The usual
got early
suspects.
access to the game have given it positive reviews.
Star Wars Outlaws is awesome.
I mean, I got to tell you, I don't think I need any help getting hyped for this game at this point. Like, I'm fully in the throes of it.
I'm not being paid. I'm just doing this because I enjoy the game.
I have been playing it for
If you have to
days
say
now. I love it.
then you're lying.
I'm totally in.
I will say, though, it's a lot more pros than there is cons.
Yes, there will be flaws with the game. Yes, it's not perfect. Yes, it's not maybe the dream game everyone's hoping for. Maybe it's not even the Star Wars game you wanted. But it's still going to be a fun experience in my eyes. And
All right,
I'm going to publicly say that.
I wanted 1313. Screw you, Disney, for shutting down LucasArts. All right, continue.
And say my honest opinion about the game because I am looking forward to it.
I have officially been won over. So thank you to the entire dev team who put this game together and made such a fun story to experience.
Smack that dumb bitch!
I haven't played Red Dead Redemption yet. I need to. Yeah, this.
I'm sitting here
the
watching
argument all the
Star
time.
Wars and gaming in general just becoming more and more toxic and people attacking others. It kind of hurts.
The louder, more toxic side of Star Wars fandom latches
Really?
on to anything that doesn't fit their version of Star Wars, and they haven't shied away from criticizing Outlaws in a
Social
very
network.
similar way.
People are online and frothing at the mouth for any reason to criticize and
Reportedly
attack and
selling
hate
poorly.
on anything they don't like, even if it's good.
A lot of these so-called reviews
It is selling poorly, and the reviews are poor as well.
that call this game the worst game ever are garbage. Many of them chose to hate the game before it even came out, or depend on the crowd that need this game to be bad in order to get views.
Okay, well, using your own logic against you, don't you in turn need the game to be good in order to get views?
Yeah.
And you did not get a lot of views on your positive Star Wars Outlaws review, so by your own logic, what does that
I'm a
tell you about
liar.
the game?
It sucks. Sucks.
It sucks.
Yes, and God forbid people leave you negative comments and accurately label you a shill.
But there's definitely still a ton of negativity around it, and I'm getting negative comments and people saying I've been paid by Disney or Ubisoft.
Because you are. We've already proven this. And this is the 4th time he's brought this up, by the way.
But I find it so funny. I posted this tweet the other day saying this is actually so beautiful. And even in the comment section of this, people are saying that this game sucks. And then I'm being paid to make this and say nice things about the game.
Cry me a river, dick face.
People will give you opinions on the internet. I'm sorry. Whether you ask for them or not. If you're on the internet, you're going to get some
This
opinions.
Star Wars Outlaws was, I don't think Ubisoft or Massive Entertainment's intention was to ever make the greatest Star Wars game or the greatest video game ever made.
Yeah, obviously, because they don't care enough to do that. It's about churning out the cheapest game possible as quickly as possible and trying to rip people off and make as much money as you possibly can, while desperately trying to compare it to one of the greatest video games ever made.
I gotta play that. Not that. The one before.
Not only does it feel like Tomb Raider, but it feels like portions of Assassin's Creed, portions of Far Cry, a taste of Red.
I love when people do this, where they compare something to tons of other things that came before it. It's like, okay, that it doesn't actually stand on its own. If you got to do that, it's not really unique.
Red Dead Redemption.
Classic Disney shill move, comparing Disney Star Wars, in this case Star Wars Outlaws, to other things that people like and say, hey, if you like those games, you're gonna love this.
These simplistic shootouts can also be brought to a faster conclusion via the use of Kay's adrenaline rush move, almost identical to the Deadeye targeting from the Red Dead Redemption series.
It's going to be like a GTA-style wanted system.
The wanted system is also like very Red Dead and like Grand Theft Auto style.
God, it's like a shill hive mind, like Ubisoft sent them talking points
Well,
to hammer home when
I mean,
discussing this game.
Acolyte, remember how it was compared to everything under the sun? Oh, Skeleton Crew, everybody's comparing it to Goonies and what else? Like other Spielberg movies. It's stuff like that.
And I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that I don't think people are going to be comparing GTA 6 when it comes out to Star Wars Outlaws.
Star Wars Outlaws? Probably getting hit for that song.
Speaking of Kay, I liked her a lot.
Kay Vess. The Underworld's favorite new scoundrel.
My favorite news scoundrel for sure.
If your main, clarification on whether a game is good or not is how hot the main character is, then you're quite shallow. And I don't think that you're qualified.
Dude, that's half of the fun of playing video games. You get to be somebody that you're not, that probably looks better than you. This is the whole reason that people like to customize characters.
Really give an opinion to anyone else about whether they should.
Which is probably what they should have done in this Star Wars game, is make the character customizable. Because not everybody wants to play as this person right here.
Buy the game or not.
All we are saying is that the actress who is the model for Kay
That's what she
and
actually
the voice
looks
actor
like.
is a very attractive.
Do you notice a difference here? And anything at all? I do.
Woman, and it's weird that Ubisoft went out of their way to make Kay ugly. That's all we're saying.
If your instinct is to say, I'm not interested in this game, even though I've not seen anything of it other than this trailer,
I had that same book.
Because you're giving me a woman of color, I'm sorry, but you are both sexist and racist, because those should not be reasons for you to not like a game.
Pointing out that Kay Vess is a DEI, feminist, agenda-driven character is not racist and sexist. And when exactly did Kay Vess become the representative for all women of color in gaming? And if you dare say that you don't want to play as her in a video game...
I'm sorry, but you are both sexist and racist.
All right, real quick, just because I know it will trigger these people, smash the like button if you think that Kay Vess is one of the worst characters in all of Star Wars.
I don't know. I don't know what they did to her eyes. Like, her eyes don't look right. Like, she's almost cross-eyed. You know, I've seen stills of the face a few times, and her eyes never quite look right. I always love a good Breaking Bad clip.
IGN, a shill gaming media outlet, gives the game a 7 out of 10. What a shock.
Overall, I'd say this was like a 6, 7 out of 10.
I think it's fair that a lot of people are calling it kind of a 7 out of 10 style game. It definitely feels...
Oh, watch how many 7 out of 10.
That.
For me, I'm sticking with an 8 out of 10, which is what I gave on the original podcast.
As for my overall rating, I'd probably give it a solid 8 out of 10.
This is a game for me for sure. I'm going to give Star Wars Outlaws an 8.5 out of 10.
What? And I think it's going to go down as one of the most underrated and overhated Star Wars games of all time.
You know what I think? I think Star Wars Outlaws is going to go down as the most forgotten about Star Wars video game of all time. 6 months from now, 98% of the Star Wars fandom will completely forget that it exists. All right, that's all I got for today, guys. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
Yeah, subscribe to Grizzy, because he's doing some good work over there. He's putting out some great videos and streams. Like, very entertaining. They're going to come after him, man. I mean, they already have been, but those people in those videos, they do not like this guy. They do not like the stuff he's doing, saying. But, hey, what are you going to do? It's the internet. Like, people are going to say stuff. So, just deal with it. Just stop crying and deal with it. That's all I have for now. I'll see y'all in the next video. Take care.